All that glitters is not gold or necessarily something good. And the fruit you're eating is glistening, and the shine on the fruit is too good to be true. That is definitely a red flag.
One of the features, for example, is the skin color, whether it's the mangoes or the guavas or tomatoes or bananas. Please remember that unnaturally uniform yellow or orange colored appearance which appears too perfect with a glossy sheen or something should be raising a red flag in your eyes.
Now, why am I suddenly talking about shiny fruits? Well, it is because mango season is in full swing, and there have been reports of fruits being artificially ripened using chemicals like calcium carbide, which India's food regulator says is carcinogenic. In fact, the FSSAI has asked states to intensify inspections and take actions against those who are using chemicals like calcium carbide. State food safety commissioners and regional directors have been told to maintain vigil over fruit market and inspect godowns and storage facilities. The mere presence of these chemicals next to the fruits will be considered circumstantial evidence, and traders will be prosecuted under the Food Safety and Standards Act. While FSSAI says that naturally ripened fruits are optimal for getting all the nutrients, artificial ripening is not completely banned in India. While calcium carbide is absolutely illegal, there are some ripening agents like ethophon which can be used, but there are strict SOPs for this. Fruits cannot be dipped into the chemical itself. The chemical, however, can be used as a source for generating ethylene gas and then used as a ripening agent for fruits like bananas. But this also has to be with strict SOPs.
What the food vendors or the people who are doing these food businesses, sometimes malpractices are common. And what happens is that they directly, for a faster ripening and for a more uniform appearance, they dip the fruits into these ethophon solutions. That to FSSAI is a complete no, and it's absolutely a wrong way of application of the ethylene gas. It's also important for us to know as users that this actually pushes the vendors themselves towards rapid and sometimes unsafe practices. It's bad for their own health, the vendors who are dipping this directly, because if it is not washed properly or if it remains, it actually causes a lot of health issues for the vendors, leave alone the consumers who consume it. So it's a negative situation for both sides.
In fact, because of how fruits look after they've been artificially ripened, it leads to higher consumer acceptance and sale. But the FSSAI guideline document says it can cause dizziness, irritation, vomiting, and skin ulcers, and can also cause cancer. So how can you as a consumer tell whether the fruit you're consuming is safe to eat?
As consumers, we are often asked this question, how can we identify if this is artificially ripened or not ripened? How would we know? So FSSAI documents these things in their SOPs many times. And for general public who may be viewing this, it's important to know few things. One of the features, for example, is the skin color, whether it's the mangoes or the guavas or tomatoes or bananas. Please remember that unnaturally uniform yellow or orange colored appearance which appears too perfect with a glossy sheen or something should be raising a red flag in your eyes. Same for aroma and smell. If a strong natural aroma is like there over natural or something which is too strong or unpleasant, that should also give you a telling sign, in terms of the bananas or mangoes per se. The firmness or texture, it can be mushier, it can feel softer because of the extra ripening agents, and it could be, breaking down the cell walls unevenly. Therefore, the firmness or the texture can also be different. When we talk about taste and juiciness, many people tend to get that once they have already purchased it. But that's also one way you will understand it's got an artificial taste per se. At home, many times we do these two kind of tests. One is called the soaking or the float test, specifically for mangoes. They have to sink when you put them in a bucket of water or a utensil. They should actually sink or go down, right? But unnatural ones or artificially ripened ones, they often float in water because of the chemicals and the gases and everything. The baking soda test is the second one, which is also used for mangoes. There's no significant color change in the natural ones. However, if you are soaking these mangoes with a little bit of baking soda, and the water color actually changes if they're artificially polished or treated, right? So there is this whole, we can go on for a little bit, but use common sense, see things for a more natural, things. Like even for watermelon, we say many times that the whole surface should have some spot which was not exposed to sunlight and therefore is a little bit yellow. The whole entire thing being green should tell you that it is it is artificially ripened and so on and so forth. And also seasonal availability, although this, when we were studying, this was used, but nowadays 24/7, 24/7, 365, we get some fruits. But seasonal availability, I would prefer that the consumers eat seasonal fruits, local fruits, for being a little more safe. Mangoes, bananas, papayas, watermelons, tomatoes, and chiku. These are the most common which we see in the complaints and everything. These 5 or 6 months. Sometimes lychee also these days, the outside part is made very red by so that is a part of coloring, not ripening per se, but for coloring, certain other fruits also are used. So those are some which we should be very little careful about. And this season is for the mangoes, as we say. So mangoes top my list in terms of artificially ripened and things. And also because mangoes have so many varieties, that every variety presents to us in a different way, right? The colors, the beautiful textures, the shapes, they are so different of mangoes. So I think that is also something which to me, in an artificial ripening way, sort of mars the whole consumer experience.
The FSSAI also advises that you should buy fruit only from trusted or reputable vendors. And then you must thoroughly wash them under running water, which is safe to drink and is portable. And that's the best way to ensure that what you're consuming is giving you all the nutrition it should, and that it's safe for you to eat. In a world where business never stops, Mint keeps you ahead, any screen, anytime, from studios to the ground.
Mint is doing brilliantly well. It's a well-read page, I would think.
Mint breaks down business, leadership, and lifestyle, boldly, visually, and smartly. From boardrooms to markets, from personal wealth to industry trends, we bring you the insights that matter. What fuels India's biggest CEOs? Ride along and find out. Want to invest like the pros? Learn from India's top market experts. Your money, your future. We make finance simple. Step inside breathtaking homes and the creative minds behind them. India's real estate scene decoded. No jargon, no fluff. Some chase success, others create it. Meet the ones who made the impossible possible. We don't just talk business, we show it. And the world's watching.